If you're familiar with Sledstorm, there's a lot of shortcuts in this game, and for the majority of them, it's as simple as taking an exit on a highway. Then there are the shortcuts that have me wondering, did the game developers know this was even possible? Here are the top 5 hardest shortcuts in Sledstorm. Starting at number 5, we have the Perilous Pass shortcut at Perilous Pass, which is a very fitting name, as you will find out. Rounding this bend, we will turn to face this side of the castle. You must then jump across at this precise angle to land on the steep incline. Landing too head-on with the slope will result in a bouncing off, and too far to the right, you will hit an invisible wall. Commonly, your racer will get stunned from the impact, but that's normal. You must now drive across this incline and jump across to the other side of the track. The difficult part about this, if you dip too low on the slope, you will get stuck into this invisible wall, and there's no telling if it will let you go. It is possible to pull yourself out, but a lot of the times if you end up getting out, you won't have enough speed needed to clear the gap. This goes the same for too high on the slope. If the sled is too high up, you will either flip or be popped down into the pit below. Even landing on the other side, you run the risk of flipping your sled, which will place you back on the other side. As perilous as this pass may seem, this is only the 5th on the list. At number 4, we have the early canyon jump at Kodiak Canyon, one of the most deceptively difficult shortcuts in this list. After passing the Kodiak Bear, there's a path off to the right that allows you to jump across into the canyon shortcut. But this is the casual way of doing it. There is a way to cut out this large bend that leads into the canyon, but it ain't easy. The lineup for this jump is so precise, and the risk heavily outweighs the reward. Failing this jump will place you in the track below, where you must take the long route. If your jump is on point, you still run the risk of colliding with this tree, but a lot of the times you will phase right through it. For this shortcut to be viable, you must land facing down into the canyon, and it's very common when you land, you will hit the sidewall, which will take away basically all your momentum and rob you of any time save. At number 3, we have the train track jump at Eagle Ridge. Instead of jumping directly across like you're supposed to, if you take a wide right approach to the jump and pull a hard left as you're hitting the jump, it is possible to land on the train track below into the tunnel shortcut. Like the ECJ at Kodiak Canyon, the lineup and timing for this shortcut is very tight, and the time save isn't that grand if you manage to pull it off. Commonly, you'll be stunned from the awkward landing and again lose any possible time save. If you fail to make it across, well, if you're going for a world record time, it's safe to say you won't be getting it now. At number 2, the second hardest shortcut in Sledstorm, we have the Leap of Faith at Lost Peak, which is definitely the most impressive looking shortcut in the game. And the fact that it's even possible is ridiculous. With enough speed and well-timed turn to the right, you can launch yourself all the way onto the other side of the track. I really find it hard to believe that no one in the testing department noticed this. They could have easily put up an invisible wall between the tracks, but nah, no one is crazy enough to try that. But when there's a will, there's a way. From a speedrunner's perspective, this shortcut is already hard enough, but having it to be the last track for the open mountain no skips category, going for it really does take some faith. Fortunately, if you miss on the first attempt, you can go for a backup strat that has a very consistent setup. The scary possibility with failing this shortcut is that if your sled falls into this area, you will be spawned on the other side of the track, which would fall under checkpoint manipulation. Therefore, it would disqualify the run from the no skip category. Now, it's pretty easy to avoid this though. You really need to mess things up pretty bad for this to happen, but it's still a possibility. So this is definitely not for the faint of heart. And for the hardest shortcut in Sledstorm, we have the Goat Climb at Goat's Bluff. It was previously believed that it was only possible with the speed gained from the perfect start, and this was no easy task. The perfect start varies depending on your acceleration release time. The later you let go, the bigger the boost. But releasing too late, you won't get a boost at all. The window to get the perfect start is pretty big, but to get the quote-unquote perfect start, it is only a few frames. On top of the perfect start, you need to turn towards the wall between a small amount of frames. Off slightly on the timing, and no matter how much speed you have, you won't be making it up. It wasn't until 2020 did I find that you didn't need the perfect start. With a precise lineup, you can wedge yourself between these two walls for a split second and propel yourself up to the track above. Was it easier than the perfect start method? Yes, but not by much. Getting in position is extremely annoying with the constant shifting of your sled due to the low friction snow. On one hand, you want to set up as fast as you can to save as much time, but at the same time, if you rush the setup, you may not be continuing the run at all. And that is my list of the top 5 hardest shortcuts in Sledstorm. Did any of these surprise you? Thanks for watching, and like and subscribe for more Sledstorm videos. See you on the slopes.